Have you ever experienced one of those truly exquisite moments where everything just, well, snapped into place?
Yeah, those moments.
Not because you forced it, right, but almost like an invisible hand arranged every detail perfectly. Perhaps your, carefully constructed plans dissolved, only for something far more beautiful and synchronized to unfold. That feeling of effortless grace where the world itself seems to almost wink at you.
That's a great way to put it, that synchronicity.
Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into that very sensation, exploring an incredibly liberating idea that reality, in this very moment, is perfect as it is now. We're going to unpack what it truly means to live from that understanding, to courageously embrace spontaneity, to trust that quiet, persistent inner voice of intuition.
Right.
And crucially, to release the relentless grip of trying to control every single detail of our lives.
Our mission in this deep dive isn't merely to present these concepts, it's really to immerse ourselves in them.
Yeah.
We'll unpack them, challenge them a bit, maybe with a healthy dose of curiosity and critical thinking.
Good, yeah.
And then explore how these powerful insights might tangibly apply in your own unique journey.
Right, make it practical.
Exactly. We'll look at the fundamental principles, the why, and the how, drawing from some fascinating insights about what truly happens when you commit to living from this perspective. Get ready to consider both the seemingly radical nature of these ideas and their, well, surprisingly practical, often immediate, everyday applications.
So not just theory.
Not just theory at all. Prepare yourself, because we're going to touch on everything from these remarkable, spontaneous meetups that almost defy conventional logistics to the nuanced process of releasing what we'll call old man thinking.
Old man thinking, intriguing.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll explore how this journey can profoundly purify your mind, connecting you to a much deeper, more authentic sense of self. It's really an invitation to fundamentally rethink how you approach planning, how you make decisions, and even how you navigate your own internal emotional landscape.
That idea of effortless synchronicity is truly captivating. And it immediately begs a fundamental question, doesn't it?
It does.
The core assertion we're exploring is that reality is perfect as it is now. This isn't just some abstract philosophical statement, is it? The source material presents it as an experiential truth.
That's the key word, experiential.
So what does this actually look like in practice? How does one genuinely experience this perfection, not just, intellectually nod along?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the insights we're drawing from provide incredibly concrete examples right out of the gate.
Okay.
Imagine, say, a vibrant group coaching service with members scattered all over the place: New York, LA, San Diego, Toronto, Tampa Bay, even down in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Wow. Okay. Geographically diverse.
Exactly. Now, conventional wisdom would tell you that coordinating an in-person meetup for such a diverse global group would demand months of meticulous, probably stressful planning.
Oh, absolutely. Emails back and forth, polls, finding dates. A nightmare.
Endless logistical nightmares, yeah. But the experience described here is quite the opposite.
Right.
Instead, people would spontaneously book flights, often with very little lead time, driven by some kind of intuitive urge.
Yes. I feel like going to Tampa.
Pretty much. And what happened? Everything didn't just work out. It unfolded with this remarkable, sometimes uncanny, harmony. The travel logistics, the event itself, it all just seemed to align. The synchronicity is what truly stands out.
How so?
Well, the person facilitating these events would intuitively find a hotel situated perfectly right by the airport, which just takes a load off everyone's travel stress,
That alone is huge.
Right. And that hotel would invariably have an abundance of nearby restaurants, making meals effortless. And often, there'd be a beautiful courtyard or some common area that was just ideal for gathering and connection.
Like it was designed for it.
Exactly. Every element, from arrival to departure, felt naturally orchestrated, like a seamless dance. This wasn't about meticulous, forced, stress-induced planning. It was about operating from an underlying acknowledgement that reality is perfect as it is now.
So accepting that premise first.
Yes, and then witnessing that inherent perfection, that underlying harmony, unfold in the most unexpected and graceful ways. It's almost as if, by dropping the struggle, the universe, or reality itself, steps in to arrange things for you.
Okay, I have to say, for many of us, that description sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it?
I get that. It can sound that way.
I mean, how can everything happen harmoniously when we know life is undeniably full of variables, unexpected challenges, moments where things absolutely unequivocally go wrong.
Right, the flat tires, the missed flights.
Exactly. This can sound a bit like a passive, almost wishful thinking approach. Like we're meant to just sit back, do nothing, and hope for the best. Is this what the source suggests? Or is there a truly active, engaged element to cultivating this experience of flow?
That's such a crucial question, and I imagine many listeners are nodding along right now thinking, but what about my life? What about the unavoidable setbacks, the genuine tragedies, the moments where nothing feels perfect?
Yeah.
And the source makes it emphatically clear, this is not about being passive.
Yeah.
Not at all. In fact, it's about a deeply active shift in perspective and commitment.
Active how?
It's about a conscious engagement.
Yeah.
When you acknowledge this deeper reality, that reality is perfect as it is now, and you make the experience of flow a genuine priority in your life.
Making it a priority.
Yes, the frequency of these harmonious experiences increases dramatically. It's not just wishful thinking, it's a profound, deliberate change in how you perceive and how you engage with the world. We hear a beautiful story, for instance, about an Uber driver who described his own experiences of flow. He didn't even have the term for it initially, but when he heard it,
It clicked?
instantly. He said it was when everything happening perfectly, people were appearing, environment was appearing to be in harmony perfectly. He recognized it because he had felt it himself, that almost magical alignment where everything just clicks into place.
Right. Those moments.
Think about it for a moment. Have you had these moments? Those times when you're working on a creative project maybe, and ideas just seem to pour through you effortlessly.
Yeah, definitely. Or maybe playing music?
Or playing music. Or when you're trying to solve a complex problem and suddenly the solution presents itself, clear as day. Perhaps it was navigating a chaotic morning with kids, and somehow, despite all the variables, everything flowed smoothly and you felt completely present and effective.
Those rare, blessed mornings.
Exactly. Or even something simple like finding the perfect parking spot right when you needed it, or bumping into exactly the person you were just thinking about.
Okay, yeah, those little synchronicities.
What did those moments feel like? That's the flow state we're talking about. And the key insight is that we can cultivate more of it.
Oh.
Not by trying harder, paradoxically, but by actively choosing to believe in and attune to the inherent perfection of the present moment.
Attuned to it.
This attunement kind of trains our perception to recognize the subtle harmony in everyday moments, rather than just waiting for big, magical events. It's like an internal posture that invites external synchronicity.
So if reality is perfect and things can spontaneously align like this, how do we know when to act spontaneously?
Yeah.
What's the guiding principle here? Because you can't just impulsively book flights all the time, right?
Right, you need a guide. And here's where it gets really interesting. The source introduces intuition as the key.
Intuition, okay.
It defines intuition as a rising from the source, a way to be called back to authenticity. It's fundamentally about listening to and trusting yourself, that deeper part of you.
Listening to yourself. Easier said than done sometimes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially because it needs to be contrasted with what the source calls mental chatter or illusory thinking. Sometimes it even uses the term old man thinking.
Okay, old man thinking again.
Tell you more
about that.
It's described as the kind of thinking that suggests lack. It whispers or maybe shouts things like, you are not love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, or you do not have what you desire, or you are not all that you desire to be.
The inner critic, essentially.
Exactly, that voice of doubt and limitation. And the crucial point is that this old man thinking is not you really thinking. It's described as unreal thinking. It's like a program running.
Unreal thinking.
Whereas intuition is different. An example given is, I get an idea, intuition, do an event just like that. I don't hesitate, I take the step, and then everything works out. It's that clear, unburdened impulse.
No hesitation.
Right, it comes, you act.
But hang on. Intuition can sometimes feel like a gut feeling that doesn't make logical sense, can't it? The source even mentions not making logical sense yet. How do we distinguish between genuine intuition and just, well, impulsive, maybe even reckless behavior?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the source addresses this directly.
Good.
It acknowledges that intuition may indeed suggest something that doesn't make logical sense in the moment. Your rational mind might scream, no way, that's crazy.
Right, like booking that spontaneous flight.
Exactly. But the source connects it to that idea of connecting the dots looking backwards. You know, the famous Steve Jobs quote.
Yeah. Trusting the dots will connect down the road.
Precisely. The logic often reveals itself only in hindsight. You take the intuitive step, maybe feeling a bit uncertain, but also kind of excited or knowing, and later you see why it was the perfect move.
So trust is paramount.
Trusting yourself is the core, even if it seems distinct from or even contradictory to that logical mental chatter. Think of it like this, maybe intuition is like a quiet whisper, and the mental chatter, the old man thinking, is like a shouting crowd. You have to learn to tune into the whisper amidst the noise.
A whisper versus shouting crowd. I like that analogy. It helps visualize the difference in quality, not just volume.
Exactly. One feels authentic, sourced from stillness maybe. The other feels reactive, noisy, based on past fears or future anxieties.
Okay, that whisper versus the shouting crowd analogy is incredibly helpful for distinguishing intuition. But for many, the very thought of just trusting intuition instead of relying on a solid plan can feel like jumping off a cliff, right? Especially when the stakes feel high.
Oh, absolutely. It can feel terrifying at first.
So for those of us who are, let's say, accustomed to meticulously planning our lives, our careers, our finances, how does this philosophy reconcile with the need for structure? Do we just toss out our calendars, or is there a more nuanced approach to planning within this flow state?
You've highlighted a very real tension, a practical sticking point many people feel, and the source addresses it with a really refreshing perspective.
Right.
The answer isn't a rigid rule. It's not an either situation. The core idea presented is essentially, sometimes I do plan, sometimes I don't. I don't think one way is better than the other.
So flexibility.
Total flexibility. The source explicitly states that identifying with a dichotomous belief, the idea that one way, like planning, is inherently superior to another way, like not planning, is actually limiting. It locks you into a restrictive worldview.
It creates unnecessary rules.
Exactly. The deeper explanation is that plans may arise spontaneously, guided by that intuition we talked about, or they may not. And either way is perfectly fine.
Okay.
The key is not needing to forcefully try to make a plan. That's the subtle difference.
Ah, the forcing it part.
Yes. If you force yourself to plan out of fear or anxiety or a deep-seated belief that things won't work out otherwise, what does that suggest?
But you don't really believe reality is perfect now, that you have to wrestle it into shape.
Precisely. That forceful trying inherently implies a belief that reality isn't perfect as it is now. And that creates resistance, it creates struggle, and often, ironically, it creates the very chaos you're trying to avoid. Releasing this need allows things to be taken care of and to work out perfectly better than old man thinking limitations. It's about letting go of the attachment to a specific plan or a specific outcome.
Letting go of the attachment.
And to deepen this, there's a really powerful spiritual concept introduced here. I and the Father are one, yet the Father is greater than I.
Okay, biblical reference.
It has echoes in many traditions, yes. It's not just a metaphor, it's presented as a profound statement about our connection to a universal intelligence or source or God, whatever term resonates.
Right.
I and the Father are one speaks to our inherent connection, our unity with this source of harmony. But yet the Father is greater than I acknowledges that while we're part of it, our individual finite minds cannot possibly grasp or control its infinite orchestrations.
The call for humility, then.
Humility and surrender, yes. Surrender to a wisdom far grander than our limited mental capacity could ever conceive. It actually empowers us by reminding us we're not alone in orchestrating our lives. We're co-creating with something much vaster.
Co-creating.
So if a plan arises intuitively, a clear nudge, you follow it. If no plan arises, you trust. You trust that the perfect unfolding will still occur, often in ways you couldn't possibly have planned or imagined.
That's a crucial distinction.
Oh.
So it's not about never planning then, it's about the source from which the plan arises.
Exactly.
And our attachment, or lack thereof, to that plan.
Right.
Is it coming from fear or from flow?
You got it. It's about being open to plans arising or not, and trusting that either way, things can still unfold perfectly. It's a subtle but really significant difference, moving from a position of needing to control to one of alignment and trust.
Alignment and trust.
Precisely. It's a surrender, but it's definitely not an abandonment of responsibility, nor is it just embracing chaos.
Right.
If inspiration hits, if an intuitive idea to plan arises an authentic, clear nudge from that deeper knowing than you plan, that's a plan guided by wisdom. Not by fear or anxiety or that desperate need to control outcomes.
Makes sense.
And if that intuitive urge to plan doesn't arise, then you don't force it. You trust the process. Both paths, planning from intuition or flowing without a plan, can lead to harmony if they're rooted in this deeper trust that reality is inherently perfect.
So it's about getting in tune with the natural flow rather than trying to impose our will on it through sheer mental effort.
That's it, exactly. And the outcome, when you allow this flow, is often far more elegant, more effective, and profoundly more joyful than anything our purely logical, old man thinking, control-based approach could ever devise. It's a form of intelligent living that actually transcends linear thought.
Okay, so if spontaneity and intuition are meant to be our guides in this,
Yeah.
what is truly standing in our way? What's the biggest barrier to experiencing this effortless flow you're describing? The source material points to a powerful, pervasive obstacle that I think many of us grapple with every single day: the need to control.
Yes. And what's truly fascinating here is how unequivocally the source calls the need to control an illusion.
An illusion, not just like a bad habit.
No, stronger than that. Fundamentally unreal, a construct. It's explained that this need to control belongs to what's termed the old man. Remember that metaphor?
Yeah, the false self, the ego.
Exactly, the conditioned identity. And therefore, this need to control is not you. It's not your true, authentic being.
Okay, so it's like a layer we've added on.
Precisely. This old man thinking is described as being based on limited reason. It's the part of us that constantly tries to meticulously manage every variable, predict every outcome, manipulate people, environment, circumstance, information.
The micromanager within.
You could say that.
Okay.
And this limited, controlling reason is directly contrasted with a higher reason, an expansive universal intelligence that operates beyond the constraints of our individual minds.
Higher reason.
And here's the critical connection. It's profound.
Yeah.
Forceful attempts to control always spring from an underlying belief.
That reality is not perfect as it is now.
Bingo. This underlying conviction that reality is somehow lacking or broken or that things are out of alignment, that's what generates the resistance, the struggle, the fear, and ultimately the disharmony in our experience.
Wow. So the control itself creates the problem it's trying to solve.
In many ways, yes. If we believe we need to control, we're operating from a false premise that things are currently broken, when the underlying truth, according to this perspective, is that they already exist in perfect, inherent harmony. We just need to stop interfering with it.
Okay, this truly resonates. I mean, so many of us constantly try to manage every outcome, predict every variable, micromanage every detail. We feel profoundly uncomfortable, anxious even, when things are out of our grasp.
Absolutely.
It feels like a deep-seated instinct, almost a survival mechanism, or so it seems. So how do we begin to break free from this powerful, seemingly ingrained need to control? It feels so fundamental to how we operate.
It absolutely does feel fundamental. And acknowledging that discomfort, that anxiety when things feel out of control, is the very first step. You can't release something you don't acknowledge you're holding on to.
Right.
The source offers a very clear and direct solution. It's simple in its essence, but yes, profoundly challenging in its practice.
Okay, what is it?
You transcend the need to control. As you acknowledge that you're perfect as you are now, reality is perfect as it is now.
Acknowledgement again. So it starts with accepting that premise deeply.
Deeply. It's a fundamental shift in identification. It's about releasing the illusory beliefs generating the thoughts of needing to control. Notice that phrasing, it's the beliefs that generate the thoughts.
Ah, okay. The root cause.
Exactly. These aren't just random thoughts popping up. They're driven by core convictions, often unconscious ones, that drive the compulsion to control. When you no longer identify with those thoughts, when you recognize them as not belonging to your true self, but rather as programs running in the background.
Then what happened?
Then reality simply appears to be in harmony without the need to control. The external world starts to reflect your internal shift. It's quite remarkable.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's consider a concrete example. Think about a time you tried to meticulously plan a social event, maybe down to the minute, detailed agenda, guest list, fallback options.
Oh, yeah, I've done that. Stressful.
Right. You might have felt that knot of anxiety in your stomach. Then a small, unexpected change happens. A guest cancels last minute, maybe a dish burns, and it throws you into a complete panic, right? Making the whole experience feel stressful and not very enjoyable.
Totally. Ruins the mood.
Now, contrast that with a time when you just decided to let things unfold. Maybe you invited people, prepared what you could, and fundamentally trusted that conversations would flow, that people would connect, that whatever happened would be fine.
A bit more relaxed.
And somehow, wasn't it often even better, more joyful, more memorable, and far less stressful than anything you could have engineered?
Sometimes, yes, definitely less stressful.
That contrast powerfully highlights the illusion of control. The joy and the harmony weren't in the control. They were often found in the release of that control. It's like the universe or reality stepped in to orchestrate something more beautiful and effortless than your limited controlling mental planning could ever achieve.
So the real challenge is daring to trust this inherent perfection, even when our minds are screaming at us to grab the reins.
That's it exactly, daring to trust.
That's a powerful distinction. And it suggests this idea of releasing control extends far beyond just external circumstances like planning events.
Oh, and much deeper.
It seems to apply to our internal experience as well. Our thoughts, our emotions, even our physical sensations. It points to a much deeper, more holistic layer of letting go.
Precisely. This goes right into the very core of our being. It suggests that our attempt to control isn't just external managing people, situations, but deeply internal.
How so?
Well, the source describes these common internal struggles, identifying so deeply with our fleeting thoughts that we become them, or not allowing emotions to be fully felt and released, maybe judging them or pushing them down, and holding persistent physical tension in the body. Sound familiar?
Yeah. All of the above.
Right. And the core message here, and it's so important for you, for everyone listening to hear this, is nothing wrong with you.
That's crucial.
Absolutely. There's no judgment, no self-condemnation needed for any of these experiences. They are simply patterns that have developed, often for very understandable reasons.
Okay. So what's the path then?
The path isn't to fight these internal experiences, not to wrestle them into submission. It's to transcend the thoughts. You transcend the emotions. You transcend the body.
Transcend.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit lofty. What does it mean practically?
It doesn't mean ignoring them or suppressing them or pretending they don't exist. Not at all. Instead, it means not identifying with them as your true self.
Not identify.
Yeah. Thoughts are temporary mental events passing through awareness. Emotions are fleeting energies in motion, emotion. The body is the vessel for your experience with its own sensations. You, your true self, are something much vaster, more profound, and unchanging than any of these transient experiences.
The observer, not the observed.
Beautifully put. With emotions, the emphasis is squarely on allowing emotions to be released instead of holding on to them, shaming and condemning the emotions, or shaming and condemning yourself for having emotions.
Releasing the judgment around them.
Absolutely. The source clearly states emotions are not negative. Emotions are part of the human experience. They are simply messages, transient energy. When they arise, the practice is to feel them in the body, acknowledge them, maybe breathe through them, and allow them to complete their natural cycle without resistance or judgment.
And the body, if it's tense.
If the body feels tense or awkward, the advice is incredibly simple, almost Zen-like. Let it be.
Let it be.
Don't fight it. Don't judge it. Don't try to force it to relax. Just allow it to be as it is in that moment, with gentle awareness. That non-resistance often allows the tension to dissolve on its own.
Like dropping the struggle with it.
Exactly. Imagine emotions like clouds passing in the sky. You observe them. You might even name them, there's anger. Okay, sadness is here. But you don't become the cloud. You remain the vast, unchanging sky in which they appear and disappear.
That's a powerful image.
It's the essence of non-identification, creating that space between who you truly are and what you temporarily experience.
This sounds incredibly liberating, the idea that we don't have to be defined or consumed by every passing thought or feeling, that we can simply observe.
It is liberating.
But I have to say, it also sounds incredibly challenging. How do you actually not identify with a really strong emotion like intense fear or deep anger, or a persistent nagging thought that feels so real, so personal, so interwoven with who we believe ourselves to be? It feels deeply ingrained for most of us.
That's a perfectly natural reaction because our ingrained patterns of thinking and feeling are indeed powerful. They often feel like us. They've often been built over a lifetime, haven't they?
Yeah, decades sometimes.
Exactly. The source explains that this is a practice of witnessing, not suppressing or denying. It's about recognizing that these thoughts and emotions are appearing in your experience, but they are not fundamentally you.
Content versus container.
Precisely. They are content arising in your awareness, but they are not the awareness itself. The core belief, or perhaps the core truth presented here, is that as you acknowledge that existence is bliss, you are bliss.
We are bliss.
That's the assertion. Thus, you don't need to seek for bliss externally, you are bliss. Bliss appears as you remain, as you are perfect bliss. This means bliss peace, love. These aren't qualities you acquire through effort or external circumstances. They are your fundamental nature, temporarily obscured perhaps, but always present.
So the practice is about uncovering, not acquiring.
Yes. The practice then involves actively choosing, moment by moment, to don't identify with the thoughts, allow the emotions to be released. This process purifies the mind from those illusory beliefs of limitation and separation that are the root cause of suffering. It's like gently decluttering your mental and emotional space.
Decluttering. Okay. It reminds me a bit of cognitive behavioral therapy idea, like identifying automatic negative thoughts.
There's definitely resonance there. Identifying limiting beliefs is key. But what the source seems to emphasize goes perhaps a step further. It's not just about challenging the thoughts, but truly understanding, deeply realizing that they are not who you are. They are simply fleeting mental constructs, impersonal phenomena. That distinction, that non-identification, is paramount.
That feels like a deeper level.
It is. The source even points to practices like vipassana meditation as an example. In those deep states of observing reality as it is, there's no thinking from the old man appearing in mind, and what is experience is reality perfect as it is, whole, complete perfect as it is.
So direct experience through practice.
Exactly. In such moments of stillness, you experience directly the inherent perfection of existence, precisely because the mental chatter has subsided and you are no longer identified with it. You're just observing the flow of experience without judgment, without commentary.
So it's not necessarily about stopping thinking, which feels impossible sometimes.
Right. Often impossible and maybe not even desirable. It's about changing your relationship to thought. It's a profound shift from being lost in your thoughts to simply observing them arise and pass, creating a spaciousness where your true nature, that inherent peace and bliss, can shine through.
Okay. So if we're doing this,
Yeah.
letting go of the need to control, transcending our limited thoughts and emotions, who are we then? This whole discussion points towards something deeper, doesn't it? The source talks about a real self and a true identity. This sounds like shedding layers to reveal an essence.
It really does. If we connect all these threads to the bigger picture, it becomes clear that we're talking about a fundamental, potentially transformative shift in self-perception.
A new identity.
Or rather, recognizing the identity that was always there. The source is very explicit. You are the real self. You are the true self that transcends the need to control. This true identity is described as inherently transcendent to limitations.
Beyond limits.
Yes, it's beyond the small, limited identity we often construct for ourselves based on our past experiences, our beliefs, societal conditioning, our perceived achievements, or our failures. It's an expansive, boundless self.
And how does that contrast with the usual way we see ourselves?
Well, this true self is contrasted with what's called the false identity construct in mind, made up of beliefs that suggest this versus that. This is the former self, the egoic identity built on comparison, I'm better than worse, the perceived lack, I don't have enough, and separation, I'm alone.
The old man again.
Exactly. And the profound message that's reinforced again and again is you are whole, complete, have everything, need nothing. Perfect love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment.
Wow. That's a bold statement.
As you accept that existence is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. It's about realizing that the very fact that you exist is this perfection. Your existence itself is the embodiment of love, happiness, peace, bliss, and fulfillment. It's not something you have to acquire, it's something you already are. It's like a birthright you've temporarily forgotten or been conditioned out of believing.
This truly flips the script on how many of us have been conditioned to live. I mean, just think about how much energy we expend chasing external validation, trying to achieve happiness, feeling fundamentally incomplete somehow.
Constantly striving.
Right. To hear that it's already inherent, that it is our being. That's not just profound, it's almost dizzying in its implications. It's not something to acquire, but something to recognize. And that changes everything about how we might approach our day-to-day lives.
Exactly. The societal programming, the consumer culture, often tells us the opposite, doesn't it? That we need to get something to be something, get the job, the partner, the house, then you'll be happy, fulfilled, complete.
The if-only trap.
Precisely. The problem, as highlighted by the source, arises when we identify with those illusory beliefs that suggest otherwise beliefs that tell us we lack something, that we are incomplete, or that reality isn't perfect. It's these identifications that create the struggle, the feeling of lack.
So the purification comes from non-identification.
Yes. The mind is purified when we don't identify with thoughts that say we lack something or that reality isn't perfect. When those illusory thoughts no longer hold sway, when they are simply observed and allowed to pass without belief, the true nature of who we are, which is perfection, wholeness automatically shines through. It's already there.
It's like cleaning a dirty window to see the sun that was always shining.
That's a perfect analogy, and the source illustrates this beautifully by saying, if an individual did not have a lot of identifications, they automatically take the step, they naturally take the step, they don't overthink taking the step, they spontaneously do things childlike.
Childlike spontaneity.
That imagery of acting childlike really underscores the purity and effortlessness of being aligned with our true self. Children, before they're heavily conditioned, don't overthink complex scenarios based on past failures or future worries. They tend to act from immediate impulse, curiosity, and joy, all characteristics of this flow state.
They haven't built up all those layers yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Layers of conditioned thinking, fear, self-consciousness that complicate adult decision-making. Their natural state is often much closer to being present and responding spontaneously to life.
Okay, this sounds like a complete rewiring of how we perceive ourselves in the world. It's clearly not just an idea to intellectually grasp, but a new way of living, a continuous practice.
Definitely a practice.
So how do we actually do this? What's the practical side of aligning with our true identity and experiencing this inherent perfection in the messy, wonderful, sometimes chaotic reality of our lives?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? For anyone genuinely trying to apply these ideas beyond just understanding them. The practice, as the source describes it, really boils down to radical self-acceptance and simply being as you are.
Being as you are. What does that truly mean in this context?
It means true self-accepting. Accepting yourself completely right now without needing to change anything first. And it's called radical precisely because it may seem radically different than the illusory thinking-based beliefs one has held and identified with for a very long time.
Radical because it goes against the grain of constant self-improvement culture.
Exactly. It challenges the very foundation of how we've been taught to think about ourselves and the world, the constant striving, the self-improvement narratives, the pervasive feeling of needing to fix ourselves before we can be acceptable or happy.
Okay, so is there a technique? The specific meditation?
Interestingly, the source emphasizes that no special technique is required. This seems key. It's not about complex rituals or elaborate spiritual exercises or mastering esoteric practices, although those can be helpful tools for some.
So what is required?
It's presented as more of a consistent, mindful choice. We just don't identify with thoughts that suggest we are not love, happiness. Peace, bliss, fulfillment don't have what we desire. Reality is not perfect as it is now.
That conscious non-identification again.
Yes. This ongoing process, this conscious non-identification with limiting thoughts, is what renews the mind.
Renews the mind.
And the source even references a powerful ancient wisdom to underline this, quoting from the Bible, Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Wow. So this isn't some new age concept.
Not at all. It shows these are timeless spiritual truths about the power of shifting our internal perception. It also mentions James Allen's The Heavenly Life as an inspirational text that explores these very ideas.
Ah, as a man thinketh author.
Yes, that lineage, reminding us that our outer world is fundamentally a reflection of our inner state. And by renewing our mind, by changing our core beliefs and identifications, we renew our experience of life itself.
That's reassuring, actually. That it's not about adding another complex spiritual practice to our already busy lives, but more a fundamental shift in approach, in awareness.
Right, it's about subtraction, in a way, letting go of the untrue.
But what if someone listening feels deeply stuck in their head? You know, just chronically overthinking every little detail, experiencing intense emotional turmoil or tension in the body. The source acknowledges this very common struggle we all face. What then? How do we begin when we feel completely overwhelmed by our internal landscape?
That's the perfect question, because this isn't about pretending those intense experiences aren't happening or judging ourselves for having them. The solution offered is incredibly simple in words, yet profoundly effective in practice. Be still.
Be still.
That's where the wisdom lies. Silence clears that all up and provides clarity, provides the guidance that one might be desperately looking for amidst the inner noise. If you find yourself caught in a whirlwind of anxious thoughts, or overwhelmed by strong emotions, or even feeling persistent physical discomfort, the invitation is to simply stop what you're doing and be still.
Okay, be still sounds straightforward, but for someone really caught in the grip of overthinking or anxiety, it can feel impossible, like trying to stop a runaway train.
Absolutely. And the source isn't suggesting a forced mental blankness, which, as you say, is often impossible and can even create more tension.
Right.
Instead, it's an invitation to a different kind of awareness. It's about consciously disengaging from the narrative, the storyline of your thoughts, and instead resting your attention gently on something simple and present, perhaps the physical sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body, or the sounds happening around you right now, or simply the felt sense of presence, of being alive in your body.
Grounding in the present moment.
Exactly. It's creating an inner space, a moment of pause, where thoughts and emotions can arise and pass, like those clouds again, without you being swept away by them. It isn't about stopping thinking, but about changing your relationship to your thoughts, recognizing that you are the observer, the awareness, not the thought itself.
And clarity arises from that space.
Often, yes. In that spaciousness, that quiet background behind the mental noise is where clarity often emerges. The true guidance, the intuitive whisper, becomes audible. It's a practice of conscious surrender to the present moment, allowing the stillness that's always underneath the turmoil to reveal itself.
Yeah.
And this practice has immense benefits over time. The source says the hesitation illusion dissolves, meaning that gap between your intuitive knowing and your ability to act on it narrows significantly.
Less second guessing.
Right. The gap is bridged between your inner guidance and your outward expression in the world. You begin to experience, more frequently, reality being perfect as it is now.
Yeah.
Even if hesitation still arises sometimes, it's described as not as pronounced, and because you've developed this muscle of non-identification, it becomes much easier to notice it and release it without getting stuck.
So it becomes less sticky.
Less sticky is a great way to put it. So next time you feel that internal overwhelm starting to build, maybe try this. Just for a few moments, maybe close your eyes, take one conscious deep breath, and silently repeat to yourself, I am here now, I am witnessing. Allow whatever is present, the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations, to just be without judgment and see what subtle shifts begin to occur. That stillness allows the innate harmony to reveal itself.
Okay, so if we commit to these practices, really embrace spontaneity, learn to trust intuition, release that deep need to control, identify with our true selves, what does life actually start to look like? What are the tangible everyday benefits, the real-world outcomes of living in this state of flow and acknowledging reality's inherent perfection?
Right, so what does this all mean for your actual lived daily life? The source describes a truly magical experience, honestly. A radical shift in how you interact with the world, and maybe more surprisingly, how the world interacts with you.
Magical how?
Well, you find yourself in profound harmony with people and environment. It literally states, people appear to be in harmony with you. You appear to be in harmony with all synchronicities.
So less friction.
Way less fiction. It's as if the world becomes a responsive, supportive partner rather than a constant source of obstacles you have to battle. Encounters become more meaningful. Conversations flow more easily. Helpful connections or resources seem to materialize just when you need them, effortlessly.
And internally.
Internally, you find yourself genuinely ending up doing the things that you love to do. You remain in your flow. That struggle to motivate yourself or to force yourself through activities that drain you, it significantly diminishes.
Doing what you love.
Yeah.
That sounds ideal.
Because your actions start to spring from a place of joy, genuine desire, and inner inspiration rather than shoulds or obligations. And this naturally leads to less doing the unnecessary things happening spontaneously, things appearing to be in our favor.
Less effort, more grace.
Exactly. Less frantic effort, more grace, more effectiveness, and this profound sense of ease, even amidst activity. This is the magic real-time experience, witnessing these effortless coordinations firsthand, not just as abstract concepts, but as your lived daily reality.
And does this affect others?
Absolutely. The source suggests the state isn't just personal, it has a profound ripple effect. This state spreads to those around you. There's a powerful summation given. If you would like to see the world to be perfect as it is, be perfect as you are.
Wow. So our internal state literally influences our external reality and the reality of those we interact with. Be the change.
In the most fundamental way, your being radiates that harmony.
That sounds incredibly appealing, almost like living in a waking dream sometimes. Can you share maybe one more practical, detailed example from the insights we've explored? How does this really translate to everyday life? Something maybe a bit more relatable than spontaneous global meetups, perhaps?
Certainly. Let's revisit those spontaneous events, but zoom right in on the specific feeling and the practical manifestation because they are such a clear illustration, even if the scale seems large.
Okay.
The individual describes it like this. I get these intuitive ideas spontaneously to do one of these events. No fear with regards to those spontaneous ideas. You're excited about it like a child. Oh, I get this idea. Let's go do this thing. I go do the thing.
Childlike excitement again.
Yes. Notice the feeling. It's not a stressful obligation, oh God, I have to plan this thing, or a fearful projection, what if nobody comes? It's a joyful, pure, childlike excitement. That's the intuitive hit. And then immediate, unhesitating action follows.
Okay.
And a beautiful, practical example is how members would arrive. Remember that member who spontaneously booked their flight?
Yeah, just felt the pull to go to that city.
Exactly. They just felt an intuitive pull to visit that specific location. Only after booking their travel did they find out that an event was planned for that exact city at that exact time.
No way.
Yes. And it was an event, by the way, that was something they genuinely wanted to do anyway. It wasn't forced. It was this perfect, almost precognitive alignment. There was no prior knowledge shared, no external prompting, just an inner nudge that led directly to a synchronized external outcome.
That's uncanny.
It really highlights how external events, people, resources, they seem to literally conspire in your favor when you're in that state of alignment, when you're not trying to force an outcome from a place of fear or lack or control. It's described as one of many ways to get to the point that reality is perfect as it is now.
So it's not just luck.
The source suggests it's not mere luck. It's about the deep, energetic resonance you generate when you embody this trust. Whether it's finding the exact book you needed falling off a shelf, or receiving an unexpected job offer that's perfect for you, or simply having a difficult conversation flow effortlessly to a positive resolution. These are all everyday examples of life unfolding in harmony, confirming that your inner state is powerfully shaping your outer experience.
Okay. This truly sounds like achieving a state often described in various spiritual traditions, a sense of heaven on earth. Not as some distant future paradise, but as a present, available reality. It feels like a profound spiritual reorientation.
That's exactly the connection the source makes, and it's perhaps the most transformative insight of all. There's this profound realization that arises from living this way.
Which is?
Then I understand what was referred to in the Bible. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thy kingdom come. Heaven is here now. It is here. Now it's reality now.
Heaven is here now.
Right now. It's not a future promise, not something to strive for or earn in an afterlife, but a present realization.
Yeah.
Heaven isn't a distant place you go to. It is the true state of reality, the underlying perfection that you can experience right here, right now, as you release the illusions, the old man thinking, that obscures it.
Releasing the obscurations.
Exactly. And the ultimate goal, you could say, of this entire journey, this unfolding, is that intuition calibrates the individual back to the source.
Back to the source.
Reality is perfect as it is. You are not separate from God. You are reality, thus you are perfect as well. It powerfully reinforces that idea that you have been created in the perfect image of the Creator.
So believing otherwise is the illusion.
To believe in lack, separation, or fundamental imperfection is to believe in an illusion that keeps us from our natural state of bliss and harmony. This path is about reunification, a profound remembering of who we truly are beneath the conditioning.
Remembering.
And just to bring it all back to that guiding principle of intuition, there's a really beautiful and evocative quote shared. Prayer is you telephoning to God. Intuition is God telephoning to you.
Ah, I like that. A two-way street.
It summarizes that harmonious two-way dialogue, doesn't it? It's that constant potential flow of guidance and response between the individual and the source of all harmony, all creation, when we learn to quiet the noise and truly listen and then trust what we hear.
It really is a complete circle then, isn't it? Releasing the illusion of control, consciously identifying with our true perfect self. That allows intuition to guide us. And that guidance leads us back to experiencing a reality that is already perfect, already inherently whole. And that leads to an experience of effortless harmony.
You've mapped it out perfectly.
It's a profound journey back to what we already inherently are, a remembering of our true nature, not a building of something new.
Precisely. It's fundamentally about accepting perfection as you are. And as the source playfully notes, one could say it doesn't get easier than that.
Doesn't get easier than accepting perfection, though the practice feels challenging.
Right. The acceptance is simple, but the journey to that acceptance might feel challenging initially, especially as you consciously release those old, deeply ingrained patterns, beliefs, and identifications with the false self, the old man. It requires a sustained practice of awareness, gentle release, and unwavering trust in the process.
Patience and persistence.
Yes. But the destination isn't about becoming perfect. It's about realizing you already are perfect, fundamentally, and allowing that inherent reality to express itself unhindered in your life. It's really the undoing of what isn't true, to reveal the truth that has always been there, patiently waiting beneath the surface, ready to be acknowledged and lived.
Well, today, we've taken a really deep, expansive dive into the incredible power of embracing spontaneity, learning to trust intuition over the incessant noise of mental chatter, and truly releasing that pervasive illusion of control. We've seen how acknowledging that reality is perfect as it is now isn't just some lofty philosophy, but actually a practical, potentially transformative path to a life brimming with harmony, effortless flow, and profound joy.
The journey towards this deeper truth, this way of living in harmony, it may begin simply by consciously challenging those old patterns, by choosing again and again not to identify with the illusory thoughts that constantly suggest lack and limitation.
Or just allowing feelings.
Or by not stifling the emotional flow when emotions arise, allowing them to be felt and released without judgment. It is a practice, a continuous process of self-awareness, gentle release, and building that unwavering trust.
Yeah.
But the profound promise, the potential outcome, as you relax more and more into this flow, as you truly learn to listen to yourself and trust yourself, that deeper self beyond all self-imposed limitations, is that everything appears to be in harmony. It's really a transformation of how you experience life itself from the inside out.
So as you, our listener, go about your day after hearing all this, maybe consider, what is one small intuitive step you could take today, even if it doesn't make perfect logical sense in the moment, just to experience a tiny glimpse of this perfect harmony? A small step.
And maybe, what belief about needing to control could you perhaps gently let go of, just for a moment, just as an experiment, and see what naturally unfolds when you release that grip? Perhaps, just perhaps, you'll discover that you don't actually have to do anything. You get to do what you genuinely love to do.